Hello, I'm Smriti. I'm a special educator and a counseling psychologist. In this video, I'm trying to give some tips to improve communication skills for our children who got the diagnosis of autism. Autism is mainly affecting a child's ability to communicate. And so we used to introduce different forms of communication to our children, different alternative modes of communication for our children to improve communication skills. But still, most of the time, parents used to tell that they are not trying to communicate. Instead of trying to communicate, what they will do, they will try to do everything by themselves, because communication is something that is really hard for them. So other than trying to communicate, it's better to do things by themselves. But sometimes we will think children are become independent like that, but sometimes it will be a problem also. For example, for toilet training, when you started working for toilet training, the first step that you will be achieving is child will start going to toilet by themselves, and then you will say the child is toilet trained and he can do or she can do by herself. But when you are outside, when you are in a public place, the child don't know how to communicate and the child is not able to find the toilet. There are some children, if they will run around and they will push people and they will just run into the toilet, but they will look for that because they don't know how to communicate for the toilet. So if we are not working on the communication skills for expressing toilet needs, how the child will communicate outside? So how you will work on that? If the bathroom is accessible to the child will go by himself. So what you should do, you can put a lock from outside so that the child can't go by himself, so that the child will try to communicate. There should be, of course, the appropriate mode of communication for the child to initiate, and then you can work on how to using gestures or using avas or using picture communication or using verbal communication. Any form that you are following, you can work on in that situation, something like that. So if you are providing everything by thinking that your child is not able to communicate, so that you are providing water bottles, you are providing their different packets of food, you are providing everything for the child, where it is easily accessible for the child, and you are giving food on time to time. You know that now your child needs this, now a mother can understand all that things. So if you are providing all these things for the child, then of course the child won't try to communicate, because everything is accessible to the child. Then why I have to communicate? So for improving the communication skills of the child, you have to keep all these things hiding. Then only the child will try to communicate. You can put lock for the kitchen, or you can hide the things where the child is can't where the child can't go by themselves and take it. So this is another way that I also tried all these things to improve my son's communication skills. Otherwise, he was going by himself and he was finding what all the things he want, and he was happy in his own world. He was not trying to communicate. The problem starts when we are in our native place, when we are staying in restaurant, hotels, in all that places. The child don't know where all these things are kept. Then the child will get frustrated and all the behaviors will start because the child is not able to communicate. So it is very important to teach the child to communicate using any forms of communication. And there are some children, in the third case is, there are some children whose interest is very limited. They have only this minimal things. Then how to move forward? So the parents are not getting options to move forward. You have to just try different things, different sensory play, different toys, different things. For example, you are playing bubbles with the child. So you started blowing bubbles and the child got really interested and he started playing, and then you immediately close it and keep it. but the child want you to blow the bubbles again, so the child will start pulling your hand or taking the bottles, or some way they will try to communicate. So that means the child is trying to communicate. So in that situation, provide an alternate mode of communication to the child and encourage the child to communicate properly and work on this, so that for playing with you, for interacting with you, you can encourage your child to communicate. These are some important points that we can create, like that you can create an environment around the child, so that the children will try to communicate more frequently, and then that communication skills they can generalize in other settings also. I hope this video will be helpful for parents. Thank you so much.